Hi, so welcome back, and this is where we left our scene, and we have our first person controller in so we can walk around. If we give it a minute, like that. It's pretty cool. Quit out again. Okay, so what we're going to do now, continue blocking out our scene, adding more of the box map trees and rocks, and build this path up. We may do this over several lectures because there's a lot to do, but it shouldn't take us too long. Take your time on this. There's no rush. This is the part where you're sort of defining what your scene's going to be like now, so we want to make it the best we can. Even if it is in rough sort of box format, it's like if you're a painter, it's like a layer of a painting. We're just putting down the first layers now. We're blocking it out, basically. So, first thing we're going to do is fix this terrain here. So, if we go into terrain, click on that, make sure the brush, the opacity is down. Let's put it on 1. Yeah, and we'll bring the size down as well because that's pretty massive. And we're just going to take it out of the hut so it's not. There we go. So just so it's not, we can't see it inside the hut, which is a little bit ridiculous. And we can patch it up after. And there's still some in there. Okay. It doesn't really need to be in there, to be honest. At all. There we go. Is that still a little bit there? There we go. That's gone. Okay, so that's fixed that. That's good. Right, so what I'm gonna do. I mean, feel free to experiment how you want, but you can watch me, and some of these videos are going to fast forward as I drop down some trees and I put down some rocks, and I'll stop to explain new stuff that I'm doing and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, etc. But feel free to populate as you see fit and see what happens. This is the fun part, so have a lot of fun. And the first thing I'm going to do is work from the back forward. So I'm going to get my boundary sorted out, and then I'm going to start putting down the trees, and then I'm going to work down this path, and I'm going to get closer and closer to here. Let's just see if I can get that out of the ground as well. Oh, there we go. And little small strokes are just as good as big strokes, because it just lets you do the smaller detailed things. Okay, so let's just go back here. Let's make my brush big. Let's sort of get some of this sort of straightened up here, flattened out, I should say. Okay, this button, third one along, is your smooth button. So you bring the opacity up, you can smooth the terrain out. And I just forgotten to mention that in the last lecture, but it does a pretty good job. It will sort of pull it together, which is kind of what you want when it gets a bit too bumpy and a bit too rough. A bit of undulation like that is quite good. But just to sort of finish it off without brushes, it works really well. Let's have a look at my map plane. Okay, yeah, so there's a path that runs out here. We can we can set that up actually, because it'll give us some sort of focus on our terrain. So let's just do that. Do you know what, I was thinking about this, and I think as a bonus lecture I might finish the terrain at the very least, but I'll do it later because I want to get through all the elements that go into making it up. I want to go through all the elements that make the graphics, you know, really sing. So don't want to spend too much time painting things like this. But you can get through it pretty quick actually. There's another exit there, but I think that one actually is high up because you can only get through it going through the trees. So that'll be built up probably using geometry, because it'll be like a rock. And this is the entrance. See, I'm doing it. I'm already doing this, and I said I wouldn't. But you can get carried away quite quickly. There's a cave in there, so but look how quickly you can sort of define with that map in place. Look how quickly you can draw your world. You know, you can get it really quickly. You can get the shape. You can get the shape working, which is really cool. I love it. It's a lot of fun. That's looking a bit small, that cave there. But once you've got a boundary of your world, it kind of starts to feel a bit more like a place. Don't know how big that cave will be once it's so a lot of the stuff will be defined through geometry. You know, a lot of the cave will build that up over with actual geometry, not obviously not terrain. Yes, cool. Okay, that's good. Okay. What we want to do over here on the left hand side, where all this is going to get huge. If you just leave it like it is, it will get big. So what we want to do is do what they've done with the first person controller here and create like a folder or container to put all these things in. But you want to keep them relative to each other. So what we're going to do is create, if you go to create an empty, so it's basically nothing, double click on it and call it rocks. And then what we're going to do is select our rocks and put them inside there. All of these rock. Yeah, all the rocks. That's a rock. Get all these and put them inside rocks. Is that it? Yeah, so then you can close it and they all become, see, they all become one. And not only that, you can now copy, paste. So you've got two lots. So if I move this now, oops, sorry about that. If I move this, you've suddenly got twice as many rocks. Of course it's a bit repetitive, so you need to go in and sort of move it around and play with it a little bit. But you know, it's a really handy way of building your scene pretty quick. Okay, go back into your terrain. We're going to flatten some of this hill back here because it's just too big. Right, now what we're going to do is go into our rocks and start moving them around so that it's a little bit different to the previous rocks you just placed. You know, we don't want it looking too samey. So just play with it and move stuff around. In fact, let's delete that one. Press delete and it just goes. Yeah, slowly you start to build up. You know, slowly you start to build up your boundary. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. I'm just going to start placing some of my trees, especially around the path area, because I want to get this around the hut established a bit more. Yeah, so feel free to continue with the boundary, especially around the back of the hut. I know it looks kind of weird now, but you know, when it's all textured and it's all lit properly, it will look pretty cool. So just go with it. And what we want to do is we don't want too many rock folders. So once you've finished moving them around and altering them, just get the rocks and move them into the previous rock pile here, and then delete that one. And if you want to change it so you've got rocks and big rocks, small rocks, medium rocks, whatever, you can break it down like that. But provided you just, because you can see even this rocks folder is going to get pretty big, so we should probably make prefabs, to be perfectly honest, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, maybe in the next lecture. Okay, so now we're going to start flushing out this area around here, around the hut, and get this sort of nicely blocked out. So we need to reference our concept art again. Just have a look at that and just make sure you keep on track. So this is our concept. So behind these trees here is our rocks here, basically. So what we're going to do now is going to put down some of these trees here and make sure we've got this sort of surface at the top of this bank. Yeah, there's some big trees behind the hut here, and then we'll do this path coming down here as well into the bowl area. Here is a good point to stop the video, and I'm going to continue in the next lecture. These are going to be quite long, so now would be a good time to take a break, and I'll see you in the next lecture.